Welcome back to another Not Daily video, everybody. Today, I will be predicting every team's record for the 2022-2023 NFL season. Let's just dive right into it. Also, I'd like to mention, I did not look at the team schedules, so I'm just assuming them based off of the teams. Let's dive right into it. Sorry that the pictures are blurry. I think they're so blurry because I took... Oh, frick. There's a hair on my Chromebook and I accidentally swiped it. But yeah, sorry that the pictures are blurry. I think it's because I took them of really small picture on Google because I need to get a picture for every single team, and I didn't think I'd be able to do it from memory that quickly. So I just looked it up and I took my pictures from that one little square on the Chromebook. So I grew them all up bigger. I think that's why they're blurry. No, the Seahawks 5-12. I don't think they want a good pick, even though I don't feel like they have a bad enough team to be like a number one pick. I could see top five. No, I don't think number one. Mainly due to they have a great receiving core with DK and Tyler Lockett. Drew Lock isn't a horrible QB. No, he's definitely not good. He's not like a build around QB though. And they have Jamal Adams, which is honestly what I think all they need. Moving on, we have the San Francisco 49ers. I don't know who their QB is going to be. It might be Lance. It might be Garoppolo for part of the season. But I think they're going to end with 10-7. Trey Lance, you don't really know what you're going to get out of it, even though this team, it has such a good team besides the QB. Running back, you have Elijah Mitchell. You have a great receiving core, Debo and George Kittle. You have a pretty good O-line. You have a great defense. I think even if Trey Lance doesn't play good, I think they end with the 10-7 record. I think this team just has such a good team around the QB. Moving on, we have the Rams. I'm putting out at 12-5, which might seem kind of shocking, just because, they just won the Super Bowl. Even though, they lost Von Miller. That's the big part. And yes, they got Bobby Wagner, even though who knows how Bobby Wagner is going to fit in that defense. Von Miller was able to get the job done. He did great. He played better than Aaron Rodgers. I mean Aaron Donald. Jesus. So he was insane. That's my point. So yeah. I just don't feel like they're going to end with the better. I could definitely see them ending with a better record, even though their team's getting older. That's the thing. Cooper Kupp's not that young anymore. I hate to say it. I love Cooper Kupp. My favorite player. Even though he's getting older, Stafford's getting older, Aaron Donald's getting older, Bobby Wagner's getting older, Jalen Ramsey's getting older, everyone's getting older. And we have the Arizona Cardinals. I'm putting out 10-7. I could definitely see them doing worse because of Kyler Murray and all his whining. I could definitely see them being worse. I could definitely see them having a losing record. Also, we have to see how DeAndre Hopkins will do after a disappointing injury-filled season. Moving on, we have Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm putting them at 13-4, which might be a bit high. Now that I'm thinking about it, because these were I predetermined these because I had to do it on a freaking Google Slides. Even though I think that they could definitely do worse, I don't think they could do much better. Even though, yeah, I could see them doing worse. That's why I picked 13-4. I have one loss to the Saints, probably, at least. Moving on, speaking of the Saints, here we go. 11-6. This might be shocking since they just lost their coach. But when they had Jameis Winston healthy, the Saints went 5-3. I think he stays healthy. I think this team can do very, very good. That's what I think. Moving on, we have the Carolina Panthers. I am not high at all on Sam Darnold. I think they should just bench him at this point. Honestly, I think it'd be better to start someone like PJ Walker to see what he can do, or a different backup. I feel or you should just sign someone who's or I think you should just tank honestly for next year. Panthers are just not in a great position because they're not in a position where they have a team that needs to that can just tank. They don't have a QB either. So that's the thing. Now we have the Atlanta Falcons. I'm pretty high on Marcus Mariota. I think it's going to be 6 wins. Cordell Patterson and Kyle Pitts, I think, will really just get the job done, ultimately. I think that's why they get their 6 wins. They don't have one of those guys, I think. Or let's say Cordell Patterson has it down here. I think they move to like 4-3 wins, honestly. Moving on with the Minnesota Vikings. I have them at 9-8. They've always been a average team. Like they've always been either in or like in the hunt. And I think this year they make the playoffs. I have the Packers going 8-9. You have Aaron Rodgers as your offense. That's your offense, Aaron Rodgers. Then you have a decent defense, and they also need offense. And so I have Minnesota winning this division, which might be shocking, even though that's what I think. Moving on with the Detroit Lions, I have them at 5-12. They're another team. I think they're going to do better with the second overall pick, and I think that'll, you know, like that could lead to someone's. Chicago Bears, I have at 7-10. I'm pretty high on Justin Fields, and they've Darnell Mooney, which is a very underrated guy who just put up a great year, and he's only going to get better since he's super young too. Honestly, he's a guy who I'm looking for in like a later round of a fantasy draft because I could feel like he could not go very early on. I feel like I could get him in a steal. That's someone that I recommend in fantasy. If you want to see me do like a little like fantasy show and like people who I think could be good, hey, I'll be down. Let me know in the comments. I'll do. If you give me like good ideas for videos, I'll gladly do it. Then with the Washington Commanders, I have them at 9-8. Carson Wentz just isn't really that great anymore. Then I have the Philadelphia Eagles. I might be biased since I'm an Eagles fan. Though I have them going 11-6, mainly because they have 3 first-round picks this year, and Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith are only going to get better, and they have the O-line and D-line for some like just to like they have experience. So I really like the Eagles heading into next year. Giants, I do not though. I'm putting them at 3-14. I have them getting the number 1 overall pick. Honestly, I think they've held on to Daniel Jones for way too long. And they've given him an okay supporting cast too, which is like the insane thing. You've seen what we got? We got freaking Kenny Golladay, Kadarius Toney, Golden Tate, Sterling Shepard. You've had so much different guys. You've had Saquon Barkley. He hasn't been able to get the job done. I think at this point, like since you didn't make any moves, I think you just have to move on from him. Draft a QB. Trade for a better QB because there are a lot of backups that are better than Daniel Jones in my opinion. I don't like Daniel Jones at all. I don't think he's good. And the Cowboys I have at 12-5. I could see them doing worse. My dad made a good argument when I was telling him about this. How they lost a decent chunk of their team losing Randy Gregory, Amari Cooper, and Cedric Wilson was also a really big loss because they were expecting him to be a decent number 2. Well, no, he'd be a decent number 3 behind CD and Michael Gallup. Then the LA Chargers. So my family does this where they like have like a preseason Super Bowl pick. We always kind of make it kind of spicy. I picked the Chargers. I think they have such a great team. They have Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler. They have, I think, Rashawn Slater. I think that's his name, Joe Slater, something Slater. He's insane at the O-line position. And it's like, they have a great offense. Their defense is Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Derwin James, freaking J.C. Jackson. This team's going to be stacked for next year. Las Vegas Raiders, I have at 12-5. I could see them doing better. I could see them doing worse. But I see them doing better than last year. I think they honestly have a top 5 receiving core in the league with Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, and Devontae Adams. We've seen Hunter Renfrow has the capability of being the number one in Vegas. And Darren Waller, and now you get a healthy Darren Waller. This team was able to make the playoffs with Darren Waller being out for most of the year. I remember there's someone else. I think there's someone else injured. And you didn't have Devontae, and you end with 10 wins. Like, that's very good. Moving on, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. This might be kind of shocking. I could see them doing better, but I have them at 10-7. Unlike the Packers, they actually replaced Tyreek Hill with some okay wideouts like Juju and Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Even though we have not seen anything from Juju since like his 1 year in like 2019 or 2020. We haven't seen anything else since. And it's like, we need to see something else to know that he's for real. And he's going to get a chance now being the number one in Kansas City. Even though Travis Kelce, this boosts his value so much. And honestly, I have him being the number one tight end in fantasy. Moving on to the Denver Broncos, I could see them doing better. I could see them doing worse. I have them at 12-5. They have a top 5, maybe the best defense in the league. I don't know. It's at least top 5 though. You have Justin Simmons. You have, I think it's no, the Panthers got J.C. Horn. I forget, they got the one cornerback last year. And you get Randy Gregory. This team's going to be insanely good on defense. And on the offensive side of the ball, it's not going to be very bad either, considering that you have Russell Wilson with Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams. I think Javonte, if he gets more playing time, I think he could be a top-tier running back, honestly. The only thing that I'm worried about on this team is the receiving core. You have Courtland Sutton, Tim Patrick, Jerry Jeudy. No one too significant. I think it'd be a good idea to draft a wide receiver in the draft. That's what I think, though. Like a wide receiver is your biggest need if you're Denver right now. Or a tight end even, considering that you got rid of Noah Fant in the Russell Wilson trade. Moving on, we have the Tennessee Titans. I have them at 11-6. They're just same as last year. Well, you got a better number 2 receiver now. It's like you have Corey Davis and A.J. Brown back. Just you have Robert Woods and stuff. Robert Woods could be not that great, considering that he hasn't played in a while. He's older. But we'll see how it plays out in Tennessee. I could see them missing the playoffs, honestly. Jacksonville, I'm putting at 7-10. They could do better. They could do worse. I think they're more likely to do better than 7-10. Just because I feel like Trevor Lawrence is going to have a better second sophomore year. And now you add Christian Kirk. And you stack up on the D-line. You make all these different moves. I think you're looking great, Jacksonville, here. Then we have the Indianapolis Colts. I could see them doing better. I could see them doing worse. But I have them at 12-5. Matt Ryan, I'm not sure that's going to play out. They also need, receivers right now. They have, mediocre tight ends and a not great receiving core. You have Michael Pittman at number 1. Maybe T.Y. Hilton. But he's old. Matt Ryan has passed the ball a lot. He goes from an offense where he would have the most passing attempts in the league, or at least top 5, to this team that doesn't need him to pass the football really at all, and just depends on the run game. I think that's a really big part. I have them going 12-5. I think it's a QB upgrade, honestly. Even though we'll have to see how Matt Ryan does, considering his age and his new system. Then the Houston Texans, I have them at 6-11 with Davis Mills. I think he's pretty good. I think he could be okay. I don't see him being a Pro Bowler, even though I could see him being decent. Pittsburgh Steelers, this might be kind of shocking. Even though I have them at 10-7, I could see them doing worse. I still have them missing the playoffs. See, AFC is freaking stacked this year. I have them going 10-7. I think this is a great team here. You have Mitch Trubisky, who he was in a very bad organization with the Bears, but then you go to the Bills, you get a year of training from like a top 3 QB in the league, arguably, and now you go to Pittsburgh, where you have Brian Flores as your backup head coach. You have Mike Tomlin. I think he's gonna do better than he did in Chicago, and you have a good receiving core with Deontay Johnson, Pat Freiermuth, and Chase Claypool, and you have a good defense with Minkah Fitzpatrick and T.J. Watt, and you have a rising star running back in Najee Harris. Then the Cleveland Browns, I have them going 13-4, and this is assuming that Deshaun Watson will be playing all year. If not, I see them having like a around 500 record. I think I have them going like 7-10 to 9-8. That's where I see them going, since I think they have Jacoby Brissett as their backup. But I have them, if Sean's playing, I have them going 13-4. Like, they just have a great team, though. The only thing that's really worrying is you have Amari Cooper as your receiving core, considering that Jarvis Landry is leaving. You have Amari Cooper and David Njoku. That's the only thing. I feel like that's something that they should maybe look at the draft, or like I don't know. That's one thing that I think you could do at the draft. Or there are a lot of guys. There are a lot of like okay guys. That would be a good number 2 to join that team. I have the Cincinnati Bengals. I have them also going 13-4. That you put this team that ended 11-6, I think, and made it to the Super Bowl, and you make what was maybe the worst O-line in the league. They're able to make it with the worst O-line in the league. You boost that O-line, I could definitely see them making the Super Bowl again and winning it even. They have the Baltimore Ravens at 12-5. Last year, they were one overtime away from making the playoffs without their QB, without their top 2 cornerbacks, with their third string running back. It's insane. They don't even like have that good of a receiving corps besides Mark Andrews either. He freaking carried that team. It's like, that's just like insane, really. Then I have the New York Jets having a 5-12 record. I just don't see Zach Wilson being that great. He's in a horrible organization, and it's another wasted QB by the Jets. Moving on to the New England Patriots. This might be shocking, even though I have them going 9-8, mainly due to the fact that they're just besides the Jets, their division has become extremely good. The Dolphins, considering that Tua doesn't like do better, that they're a playoff team. The Bills are the Bills, and I see them losing those division games that they would normally win. And you lose J.C. Jackson. That's a big part. That's your best player. That's arguably the best player on your team. But moving on, we have the Miami Dolphins. I have them going 12-5. I could see them doing better if Tua shows up and Tua becomes a star this year. But I could definitely see them doing worse if Tua proves to them that he's not a great QB. And I could see them missing the playoffs with Tyreek Hill. Even though you've been able to have winning seasons with Mike Gesicki and like barely any wide receivers, I could definitely see them. I see them going 12-5, even if Tua plays how he's played in his entire career, mainly due to the team that he has around him. Then, last but not least, we have the Buffalo Bills. I have them going 14-3. Besides the Chargers, who are just like a team that will kind of shock everyone, I'm going with the Bills to win it all this year, bro. You have the league's best defense. You add Von Miller, and you also have a top 3 QB, arguably the best, arguably top 3 too. You have a top 5 wide receiver, arguably, and you just have a great offense and defense overall. And it's insane. This team's so well built to win a Super Bowl right now. I feel like if they don't do that, that would be a really missed opportunity. Because right now for Buffalo, it's Super Bowl or bust in my eyes. But if you like that video, please like and subscribe. This video took me so long to do because I had to take pictures of every single team's logo and then put them in a Google Slides. And then I had to type in the team's name and record. This video took multiple hours to make. So please like and subscribe. Comment if you have any ideas for future videos. I would be fine if you guys were to react to this video. I'd like to see your guys' opinion on it. Until then,